All right. Hello, everybody. This is again Bobby Mitchell. Thank you for joining us today. We are very excited about another episode of Breakthrough to Break Free, right? We, I mean, Wait till you hear what's happening today. We've got a special guest. And before we get to that, I wanted to share with you a couple things about our topic. Our topic today is goal setting, right? We've talked previously about making declarations. We've talked about limiting beliefs. We've talked about your major definite purpose. We've talked about your why, yeah, your why that can make you cry and being purposeful. And now, with all the structures, and if you haven't watched if you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you click on the links and go on our channel and watch all the other videos that are available to you, because we've got worksheets in there. We've got different things that are all free of charge just to serve you, to help you ultimately find your purpose, right? We believe that God created you on purpose for a purpose. We truly believe that in our Conscious Community Media family. And again, thank you for being here. So today's topic is goal setting. And I learned about goal setting early in my career where, we've all set goals, right? My first goal was, my parents taught me that I had to fix my bed every morning, right? My dad was military, right? I don't know if any of you can relate with military parents. I had to fix my bed every day. Like before I left the house, my bed had to be fixed, right? Every Saturday, my goal was to have my room clean because I got an inspection, right? And the reward was I got an allowance Saturday around 10 o'clock, right? It was inspection time, right? And so as a kid, I learned a lot. I thank God for my dad. He's turning 84 next week. And how much, we all have people in our lives that has helped us with goal setting. Also, we've had people help us not be good at goal setting, right? Because it's a skill, it's a talent. And I thank God for my dad teaching me these little baby steps, because that's part of being successful and being good at setting goals is being able to set like sort of what we call baby steps and create something we call momentum, right? We've talked about that in previous episodes. So today, it's about goal setting, and we're going to have a series of videos underneath this with various people, various leaders sharing their vision and their perspective on goal setting. So today is sort of an introduction, and this video is an introduction. So, we'll be short and sweet with it, but we do have a powerhouse guest speaker that's going to get, that we're very fortunate to have today. So before I get into introducing Brian, and then he's going to introduce our guest speaker, couple things about goal setting. If you're setting a goal, whatever that goal is, right? When I first shared with you as far as making my bed and cleaning my room and getting inspected, and then doing my homework, and then eventually I set a goal to go to college and graduate, and it took me way longer than it should have. And then we all have different goals, right? Now in our lives now, we have different things that we do, pay our bills, different things. Some of you have business goals. Some of you have relationship goals, right? There's so many different areas of goal setting. So this is a big topic, right? Because one of the key things that I've learned throughout my career in coaching and working with business owners and individuals and working with kids on sports teams and different things that I've done, there is a thread of every successful person. When you think of a successful person, no matter what profession they're in, no matter what profession, there is a thread. There's a lot of different things on that thread, but one of them that I've realized is that they all have gotten good at the skill and talents of setting a goal, creating a plan, and creating a SMART goal, which we'll talk about more, in creating a goal, and then creating the steps to achieve that goal, and then setting another goal, doing the steps and achieving that goal, and setting another goal, setting another, right? They've gotten good at that. But the common thread, most of them weren't very good at it at some point in time. And they all learned how to do that. Just like I learned, and the people that you're going to hear from have learned, and just like you can learn too. And that's why you're here. And we're grateful for you to be here. And we pray that this is going to help you in your path on becoming purposeful in everything that you do. So with that, I've hopefully kind of set the table for today. So I'm going to introduce one of my dear friends. Most of you that have been following us already know who he is. I call him Brian B. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana. He's a John Maxwell coach. He's been helping small business owners in his local community, and now it's expanded into a national arena. So I'm going to bring on Brian, and then he's going to kind of share his perspective on what goal setting means. And then we've got a powerhouse guest speaker who's not only helped many people already, but is on a mission to help thousands and thousands of people worldwide. And we're honored to have her here today with us. And then we'll do a quick Q&A session with her. So we'll get some great nuggets and great takeaways for you to be able to apply today. All right, be able to apply today. So with that, Mr. Brian B., please share with our wonderful community what goal setting means to you and what has been as far as you becoming, understanding that thread on how important goal setting is.
Oops. I was unmuted already. Sorry about that. Hey guys, Brian Bodenhamer here. And one of the things I love about this setting that we're in right now is I get to edify people that I really care about and people I really respect, and get to work with those same people. And Bobby is the epitome of that picture. So thank you, Bobby, for your friendship, your leadership, and all the things that we've been able to do together and things that I've learned from you. So thank you. Again, yeah, my name is Brian Bodenhamer. And for those of you who are phonetically challenged, like a lot of us are, Bodenhamer is very simple. It spells out a lot easier than it looks. Bow, like it's on a present. Den, what you may be sitting in right now. Hay, like what horses eat. And myrrh, like the spice. So Bodenhamer, long A. And when I think about goal setting, it's not one of my big strengths, but it's something that I'm working on. It's one of the weaknesses that I have to work on, and I have to be very purposeful. And I know April's going to talk about being purposeful, and I'm excited to hear her about that. And so I need clues. I need to do the SMART thing, and SMART is SMART goals. You can look it up. Just type in SMART goals on Google, and you'll see something about how specific is your goal. Do you have a specific goal in mind, and try to keep it small and go from there. Can you measure it? What you can measure, you can improve upon. Is it achievable? Is it attainable? Big goals are great. I believe in getting out of your comfort zone. I believe in reaching too far sometimes, but sometimes your goals need to get the small victories so you can get to the other ones. Is your goal relevant to what you want to do in the long run? Is it something that's going to help you get to where you want to be? And then the last part of it is time based. If you're going to set a goal, you can't just someday or one day, or because those days never come. You need to actually put a date to it. By this time, I've got to hit that goal. And there are people better suited to explain that SMART part to you. But that's one of the things that I come out with. The other thing is I believe in a vision. I believe in a board. I remember meeting Bobby, and he says, without a vision, the people perish. That's one of his favorite parables in the Bible. And it really makes a lot of sense. And I'm a big believer in vision boards. And make a decision, put that vision board where it's in front of you, where you can read it. So I take people through an exercise where they can do a vision board. And it's so much easier now with technology. And it could be anything. And I don't think anything's out of bounds. If you want to live in that big house that's obnoxious on the Gulf of Florida or down in Gulf Shores where Melanie's from, great. You want to drive that really nice car? Do you want to have this big check that you write to yourself? I've heard a story about Jim Carrey carried $1 million check in his wallet for years, and he cashed that check when he had the money, but it was a constant reminder to him. So it's its own little wallet size vision board for him. And this happens over and over. And I know when my wife and I won a contest for getting fit, we started with the vision. We hung up a shirt for both of us that we wanted to fit in. We put vision boards of how strong we wanted to be and all that. And that came to fruition. We won a trip to Hawaii because of it. And, it took a lot of work, because goals are going to take a lot of work. It's not a wish, it's a goal, and you got to go out there and get it. So the goals are setting you up. Then you got to do the work, and I think that's a few concepts that I believe in. I think will help some of the others. And if you're like me, you need that constant help. You need to use the SMART system, and you need to have that vision board in front of you so you can see it every day, so you can work towards it. So I'm really excited with that to be able to introduce a friend of mine. I've known April probably about 10, 12 years now. And we've been able, we became friends, and um, watching her grow into the woman she is as a leader and a servant. I mean, servant leader is a very, very good description of April. She recently won an award uh, for being such a great business person here and on the north side of Indianapolis. And she's actually been on Shark Tank. I don't know anybody who's been on Shark Tank except for April. And I'm sure she shares that every once in a while. So what I want to do now is introduce April, give her some time, and we'll ask some questions of her. And I'm sure there'll be, if you want to join in and ask some questions, we encourage you to do that. So with that, April, the floor is yours.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate you inviting me to be here with you all today. I wanted to share maybe just a few things about what I have learned on my journey, because let me tell you, it has been a journey in sales and marketing my entire career, over 20 years actually. And entrepreneurship, I've been a business owner since 2012 to now. So I've learned a lot, definitely. Failed a lot, got back up, tried again, and you just keep moving forward. So let me talk to you a little bit about goal setting. So my perspective on goal setting is shifting from the old way of setting goals. The old way of setting goals is where you're focused on money and hitting your numbers. And I believe in purpose-driven goal setting. And it's actually even more effective. And I'm going to demonstrate what I mean by that and give you an example. So I went from earning $9 an hour and barely getting by as a single mom, struggling, trying to figure things out, and to generating $9 million in sales, and I won Salesperson of the Year. And I did that in 12 months. And it changed my life and my kids' life. When I went back to look at how that happened, I'm going to give you a couple points of that's extreme. How do you do something like big like that, right? Because it seems impossible. What seems impossible is actually possible. I want to say that. But I looked at, number one, I put God first in my life. Faith, because you got to have faith. You got to believe in what you cannot see. And that's what puts you in a state of receiving so God can deliver to you what he had planned to give you all along, which is above and beyond anything you could ever ask, hope, or imagine. It's so you can fulfill your God-given purpose. And that includes opportunities, the right people, the right business, clients, and prosperity, income. And so that was the first piece. The second piece is I completely shifted the way that I did goal setting. Let me tell you what I did. The old way, my goal used to be, I want to make $10,000 per month. I want to hit my sales goal of X amount of dollars per month this month. That was the old way of doing it. So I started to map out a strategy for how to make that number. Well, as soon as I flipped the script on my goal setting to make it purpose-driven instead of money-driven or numbers-driven. So instead of focusing on me and what I can get and the money, I actually instead started focusing on people and what I was going to help them achieve or have, which was the complete opposite. So let me give you an example of this. My new way of goal setting sounded like this. I am so grateful that I am helping 5 new clients get their next client enrolled in their coaching program by March 2021, like March 31st, 2021. So I focused on the number of people, clients that I wanted to attract, and then what is the outcome that I was going to help them to have. Of course, that's around sales and marketing if you're in that industry, if you're a business owner. But even personal goals, maybe you're not a business owner, or maybe you're not in sales. If that's true, focus on what is the outcome that you want, that not only is beneficial for your life, that's beneficial for your family or for those around you or for those that you serve, wherever you are serving in that capacity. When I did that, I didn't hesitate. Like before, especially with Christians, you're like, is it okay for me to want to go after money? And should I want to be making that much money? Is that okay? Does God want me to do that? And instead, I was focused on people and helping them to get what they want and needed. And it released the brakes, and I implemented the daily and weekly steps that led up to the attainment of that goal. So that was a really big piece. And I've had vision boards in the past. I'm glad you brought that up. I love vision boards. But I took it a step further, and on my vision board or on a blank sheet of paper, I would write something like this: I am so grateful that I'm helping X number of people get X outcome. And then by this date, and then I would put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever number of clients I wanted. And it would be a blank space. Y'all, do not discount the power of this. When you create a blank space to put somebody's name is already meant to go in there, it will actually start things in motion to where the next person that you're called to serve, it'll start manifesting it, the people, opportunities, the right ideas, to where that name, you'll fill in the name as you get it. And the next thing you know, it's all filled up. That is how I won Salesperson of the Year at my old real estate job when I sold new construction homes for a new home builder. So I focused on people over the money. And yes, it's perfectly fine to have income goals, financial goals, sales goals. If you're a business owner, that's important. But I did the math, and I understood how many clients I needed to reach that revenue goal. And then I focused on the people. And then I think the last quick point I want to share is, with each goal, there are means goals and end goals. How many of you have heard of that before? Raise your hand. Means goals and end goal, right? End goal is the absolute end goal that you're working towards. It's the absolute that is unchangeable. This is the goal. The means goals are the daily actions or activities that need to be done daily or weekly that actually lead you to the milestones and that ultimately lead you to the actual achievement of that goal. So when you're writing down the means goals, you got to get clear on what is the end goal. I believe it's that purpose-driven goal I just told you about. You got to get clear on what are the means goals. What are the action steps that you need to take weekly and daily and weekly that actually lead up to you achieving that goal by the date that you set. And it's got to be clear and specific, not fuzzy. And then underneath each of those goals that you set, I recommend that you add why it's important to you. Why does it matter? Because that's going to create the emotion within you to actually get going. It's going to create motivation and momentum, because now you've got a why that's powering you and pulling you forward. You're being pulled by your purpose instead of pushed by a goal. So I'm going to pause there for a second and just see if anybody want to chime in? Anything that you want to share around that?
April, so many nuggets there, so much content there. Can you repeat that, what you just said? Because that people need to resonate on that purpose, pulled and pushed. Can you say that again?
Yeah, that's what causes you to be pulled by your purpose instead of pushed by your goal. Pulled by your purpose, there's a fire in your belly. There's a motivation that is pulling you forward, and you do the next thing and the next right step and the next right step, and next thing you know, you've achieved something. Being pushed by the goal is where it's lacking emotion and meaning and purpose, and it feels like drudgery. It feels hard. You kind of, you try to avoid it. You make up excuses. That's the difference.
Wow, powerful stuff. I know we've got some people on here live with us, and then obviously there will be questions people put into the chat when they see this replay. One of the questions that Champ had was, what's the biggest obstacle you had to overcome in goal setting, and what did you learn? I thought that was a good question.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what that is. Core wounds. That's what holds us back from achieving our goals, taking the daily actions that are necessary to actually the achievement of the goal. So my core wounds, everybody has them. They get linked up in our childhood. There's wound patterns. My wound pattern is perfectionism, overanalyzing, hiding out or holding back from being visible or from exposure, and then the fraud factor. So if you really, if you notice that you have a goal and you know what to do, it's in writing. You know the goal, you know what the steps to take, but you're in resistance, you're holding back, you're avoiding it, you're overanalyzing. That is a clear sign that you have a wound pattern, a pattern of behavior that is self-sabotaging you from actually achieving it. So you got to deal with things at the root cause and unhook from it there. When you do that, it's like lifting your foot off the gas pedal, off the brakes, and then pressing the gas pedal, and you keep moving forward and you actually achieve it faster. So those are the couple things that seem common for me and my tribe, the people that I serve, is perfectionism, fear of being found out that you're a fraud, imposter syndrome, hiding out or holding back in some form. That's pretty common.
April, you mentioned something about the imposter syndrome. It's been a buzzword. I've heard a lot of that, especially being on Clubhouse a lot. I'm sure, I don't know if you've been on there, but and just in general. But there's two questions. One, but I think they're tied together. But what I want, as far as the imposter syndrome, of people not feeling, because when I first heard that, I thought, we've all heard that fake it till you make it kind of thing, when, imposter, like that definition. But then what I learned was more of us not feeling worthy, right? Like we don't believe we deserve that. Like we set this audacious, delicious, juicy goal. It's purpose driven. But like you said, I love this core wounds, man. I am running with that, right? The core wounds. And I can't wait to stay plugged into all your courses and the things that you're doing. But the question I had was, so that first question is that aspect of not feeling worthy. Like how does someone overcome that because I think there's a lot of lack of self-worth because of those wounds. Mm-hmm. And then the second question is what do you, or maybe you or you've seen, what's the best way to overcome that? And did you get out like someone else helping you to hold you accountable and accountability? How about accountability partners? And that was sort of those, you sparked it with the wounds, and then the accountability partner was another question.
Yeah, what a great question. All right, so the wound pattern, which is fear of being found out that you're a fraud or imposter syndrome, if you reverse engineer it to the root of that, it's I am worthless or I'm not good enough, which is a core wound. Mm-hmm. That's really the root cause. It's not feeling worthy. Core wounds get linked up in our childhood between age 0 and 7 years old. Even if we came from a good upbringing, good, decent parents, nobody's perfect, but it was good. We link up core wounds and we start to operate out of our wound pattern. And it can bleed over into our adult life, in our business, in our work, our relationships, in goals, in our behaviors. So let me just touch on how you overcome or address that wound pattern, which is fear of being found out that you're a fraud or imposter syndrome. Number one, it's a decision. Okay, I want to get real clear on this because this is where I had to start. When I got clear and understood that I am 100% responsible for the results that are showing up in my life and in my business, right? Whatever goals that I'm trying to reach for, and if it's not happening, I'm responsible for changing it, which also means I'm 100% responsible for healing from my old core wounds, unhooking from fear, overcoming self-sabotage, stop being a victim thinking, and become the victor that God created and designed me to be. So I had to step into a whole new identity. This is about identity. You've got to change. You've got to get clear on who you are. You are a son or a daughter of God. And because were created by God on purpose for a purpose, you carry his DNA. You come from a heavenly Father that spoke the universe into existence. And because you carry his DNA, you also have creative powers to speak things into existence and to use your personal power, your will that he gave human beings to create. So it starts there, and it's from a place of power, but it's also from a place of humility and confidence. It's all of it wrapped up in one. So you got to know who you are and whose you are. That's how you're going to start to elevate your self-worth. The second thing that you need to do is you've got to rewire your thinking and your brain from an old experience, the original moment that occurred in your childhood, sometime early in your life, of the very first moment where you may have linked up that core wound of believing that I must be worthless or I'm not good enough. Oftentimes we misinterpret experiences and the meaning of them. And because of that, our little brains are not fully developed. Our brains are meaning-making machines. So that must mean I must be worthless, which is fundamentally not true. So you've got to rewire that meaning. Let me give you a quick example, and I'll move on for other questions. My dad is a retired Marine. I grew up on military bases. My dad's retired 22 years in the Marine Corps. And I was always seeking his approval. I got an A on a test. I was a child. I come home from school. Dad, I got an A on a test. He's in his recliner. I hand him the paper. There's a big A on the top. He looks at the paper and he looks over the rim of his glasses and he says, you know, if you would have studied just a little bit harder, you would have gotten an A+, but better luck next time. And he handed me the paper back. As a child, I misinterpreted the meaning of that experience. It caused me to link up the belief, which was a lie, that I must be worthless. And I'm certainly not smart enough if I can't get an A+. And so I carried that with me throughout my adult life, which is part of what causes the fraud factor, which is not true at all. And as an adult, my dad wasn't trying to hurt me. He was trying to help me. He could have done it probably better, but he was only doing the best he knew at the time. All our parents are. I'm a parent now. So I rewired my thinking and I saw the truth of what that really meant. Oh, he wasn't trying to say that I was worthless. I really am competent. I am smart. I am worthy. I can figure this out. And I don't have to be perfect. He was just trying to help me. I see the truth in that now. Now it's rewired, it's reprogrammed, and I've got a new pattern of thinking around it. We all have areas that we need to identify the wounding experiences, rewire or reframe our thinking around it. That's when you cut the cord on it and you're set free long term. If you just try to do positive affirmations, it won't work because you haven't deleted it off of your mind. So that's part of what I do with my clients. I've got a 5-step process to identify core wounds, wounding experiences, limiting beliefs, and do the rewiring. And it only takes 6 minutes.
Awesome. Well, I know we've got a couple more. I know Brian wants to ask, but I first off, if you're watching this, make sure there's a link down below for April's stuff. We're going to make sure her links in this. So just go down below and get connected with April because we are very grateful for her to be here. Before I pass to Brian and he can kind of wrap things up with you, I did have one question that I think the audience would love to know, and I want to know. And it's sort of what one of the other questions is, what do you recommend on a day-to-day basis? You had mentioned about setting goals and then getting into some steps of daily and weekly steps. Like, what is your daily routine, or what do you recommend when you're coaching people? Obviously they've set some goals, and what's maybe a daily method of operation, maybe something like that, that you recommend or that you help people with, and maybe even what you do, if you don't mind us asking.
Yeah, I'm happy to share that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's key. We can be great goal setters and have an amazing vision board and be visualizing every day. But if you're not doing these 4 things every day, none of that is going to matter. And it will be another month, another 6 weeks, another year that you still haven't reached your goals and do what God's calling you to do in the world. So the first thing you got to do is write down those weekly, daily, and weekly means goals that help you to reach specific milestones each week that add up to reaching the actual goal each month. And everybody's different. If you own a business and you're working to attract clients for your business and reach a sales goal, that's going to be different than somebody that is a stay-at-home mom and just wants to be a better parent. So it's all dependent based on you and what your goals are. But I can speak to, from my perspective, from entrepreneurship, because I'm a business owner. I'm a sales consultant. So there are 4 things that needs to be done on a daily and weekly basis in a business if you want to actually reach your sales goals. If you're caught up with doing a lot of busy work and you're not focused on, that's taking up a lot of your time but does not create results, you'll struggle to grow your business and grow your impact and also your sales. So here's what you need to be doing. Your primary focus, if you own a business or if you're in sales, you need to be doing sales and marketing. That should be top priority every day. So it should be exposure, getting in front of potential ideal clients every day. It also must be striking up conversations with potential premium new clients that could be a good fit for you. Invite them to get on calls, have conversations with potential clients. That's the second thing. Making an irresistible offer. And when they say yes, fantastic, deliver on your promise. And then the second step is if the fourth step is if they're not quite ready to move forward now, but they could be 30 days from now, 60 days, 90 days from now, you need a follow-up strategy that is consistent, that adds value. And when they are ready, they will say yes and move forward and choose you because you stayed not only top of mind, but you added some value. And if you're not doing that, you will have a hard time reaching your revenue goals in your business. And it could eventually lead to failure. And the only reason I know that is because I've been there.
Wow.
That's above and beyond anything else. I don't care if you because business owners love to go create stuff and they love to perfect it, and they'll tweak their website, or they'll tweak this post that they're about to send out, or they'll tweak their ad copy for Facebook ads, or they'll make a little graphic design and spend 6 hours on a little graphic design in Canva. You just got to get disciplined. Sales and marketing is first. It is. And then lead from purpose.
Yeah. That is incredible, April. Now, I have a question, and this is for you and Mel. As women, do you see any other obstacles and goals that men don't necessarily have to have? I'm not putting the question right, but do you guys know where I'm going with this?
No, tell me, go deeper. What do you mean?
Well, I'm asking you as a woman entrepreneur, what obstacles do you have that you feel like you have to overcome in goal setting that maybe Bobby or I or somebody else doesn't have to face?
You're saying, is there a difference between men and women and the way that they approach goal setting that's different?
Yeah, we're just gonna have to erase that whole part of the webinar.
Yeah.
Because I have the question in mind. I'm not making it clear enough. So, but okay, well, good deal. Anybody have any questions they want to ask before we jump off of here and wrap this up?
Yeah.
Melanie?
Yeah, I would. By the way, April, awesome job, and it's nice to have a strong woman part of the group today. That's really great.
Thank you.
So, yeah, well, I was curious. When you're coaching, new people you're working with, how do you identify that core wound where
Yeah.
they're stuck, and how do you help them break through? Because you mentioned something about 6 minutes. So I'm real curious if people could have some serious breakthroughs in 6 minutes,
Yeah.
what that language was. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's exactly how I help my clients. Number one, identify their core wound and wound pattern. And let me just say this, your ideal clients that God has equipped you and called you to serve, all of us, if you're entrepreneurs, your ideal clients mirror and match your same core wound and wound pattern. That's part of how you know they're in your tribe and that you're called to help them, because you've been there. You've been on a similar journey that they've been on, but you're steps ahead of them on the journey. It's a calling. All right. And I take my clients through a process called a life PhD session. It's a 2-hour one-on-one call with me, and we actually dig deep to explore your life's greatest challenges, your wounding experiences, 3 from childhood, 2 from your adult life. And I act like a detective, and I mine data from the wounds and the patterns to pinpoint what is your core wound, what is your wound pattern, what's your genius zone, who are your ideal clients, and what's your purpose? How do you align your purpose with your coaching business or with whatever it is that you're here to do? All of that data comes through in a life PhD session. It's quite intense, but my clients have described it as life-changing. So that's how I do it. But this 5 steps is the ultimate mindset breakthrough process. And it's a bonus that I share with my clients to identify what is where are they stuck, where are they in resistance, where's their core wound, their wound pattern showing up, where they got a fear of being a fraud, or they're holding back from being visible, or whatever it is. And then from there, I move them down the next few steps to identify specifically what it is, so it's written, how to rewire their thinking about it, how to delete it off of the hardware. Your brain is like a drive that you can delete old information that no longer serves you, and then how to replace it with a new belief that is actually the truth. We've got to identify the lie that we keep telling ourselves on a conscious or subconscious level, and then delete it permanently. And then you install and reinforce the new belief. And that's when you see significant, almost immediate changes. So that's kind of the process in a nutshell.
Woo-hoo!
Great.
Okay. So I believe truly just in the last half hour, you gave so much value for anybody. If you've obviously been watching, April, there's so much there. And so what I want to end it on, April, is what is the best way for anyone that ever gets to see this and finds us and sees this? What's the best way for them to get connected with you? What's the first what's the first step if they want to, like, I want to connect with April. She's rocking. I get it. I need a diagnosis. I need a doctor to, right? I need Dr. April to come in, right? The mental doctor, the spiritual doctor, the purposeful doctor. So what's the best way, April, for any of our viewers to get in touch with you?
Thanks for having me recommend that. If anyone watching the replay or even here on the live with us, if you are a Christian, faith-based, whatever you want to call, Christian coach, consultant, or course creator, I want to invite you to join my free Facebook group. That is the best. I actually do live trainings like this that are free inside my group every Tuesday at 2 p.m. So that would be the best way to get a hold of me and stay in touch and get a lot more value like this on a much deeper level consistently. And then for those of you that are not, you're not a coach, consultant, course creator, you don't even own a business, you can certainly connect with me on social media, aprilyvette.com. Yep, that's my Facebook group right there. And you can also connect with me on my website, www.aprilyvette.com, APRILYVETTE.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, April. We went a little bit longer than expected, so I apologize for keeping you longer than we said, but man, you're just sharing so much great stuff that I mean, I know everybody listening appreciates it, and just really thank you for showing up today. What a blessing it has been. And I know everybody here appreciates it. So let's all give her, let's all really woo. Thank you so much, April.
Thank you
Sincerely.
so much. Thank you.
And this conscious community team here is very excited about staying in contact and connecting with you. I know that this thing every Tuesday, what a great resource you are, and what a blessing you are. And one thing I want to end it on, April, that you had said is that we all have a calling, and we all have a purpose of people that we can impact and help, that maybe we're just a little bit ahead and we can help them. And then there's people ahead of us that are helping us. And I truly believe you're one of those people that are ahead that's helping us. So thank you for reaching back and lifting and holding and grabbing our hands and with some great stuff today. Thank you sincerely. God bless you for everything that you do. And I just look forward to working with you in the future, and as well as our team. I'm sure I speak for all of them. So thank you for being here today. All right.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be here. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Brian. So nice to meet all of you too. Thank you.